Hello, this is Team One, and we're gonna be discussing about the video seen in last class and discussing about it. So we have six questions that each one of us is gonna answer and give our opinion on it. So question one: Why is it first? Why is this first important for the future of our career?
Well, I will have to say that as someone who basically studying graphic design, right, it is really important because I need, so I can basically communicate with coworkers, whether are from inside the country or outside the country, and basically be able to expand myself in order to get more job opportunities is in other parts and other places.
For me, my career is administration, so I think it is essential because it will equip individuals with the necessary skills and knowledge to enter in a globalized business. It will drive effective communication, cultural intelligence, and diversity within the ethical decisions making and in any uh, work that I will have in the future. So for my career will be necessary.
Well, I think this course is important because it teaches you about culture and it's something we see every day. Um and we live it and we all experience it. Something that this course taught me is about thinking of other countries and how to understand them if we have a, a multicultural work team. In my case, I study engineer and I want to work in a multicultural companies and with engineers for different countries, and this is something important to me.
I am also studying industrial engineer, so I agree with everything that she just says. Like, I think as an industrial engineer, you may work on projects that involve collaboration with individuals from different cultures or backgrounds. So I think all the themes or like the things that we see in this course will be helpful whenever we get the chance to work with other people from different cultures or being projects with.
And be a game changer in the case of making a deal with someone, understanding their perspective and getting the message directly, and through the knowledge of their culture, so it's better to grasp and understand the meaning behind their words. Okay, so second question, interculturality. Can you see it in this country, here in Mexico? Yes or no? Give an explanation.
I will say yes, you can see interculturality in Mexico. I think Mexico is a diverse country with rich cultural heritage, and it has a long history of indigenous cultures, influence from Spanish colonialism. So I think the Mexican society today is blend of various cultures, traditions, and ethnicities.
I also say that yes, we can see interculturalism in our country and in any part of the world. Uh, Nowadays, with technology, we can be in contact with other countries, and not only in Mexico, we have many things that are mixed with other cultures, and we adapt it to our lives.
Yes, I also have to agree. There is a lot of signs of interculturality in as in our country. There's multiple negotiations and treaties with other different countries. For example, the countries in North America, such as the U.S. and Canada, as well as other countries in here in Latin America, like Chile, Argentina, Brazil. A lot of them. Everybody we try to see how they can communicate perfectly, and I guess our country really does an okay job of that.
I also agree with all of you. I think that each region in Mexico, each state, has its own unique cultural elements, like food, music, dance, festivals, and artistic expressions. Um, this interaction and exchange of these regional cultures contribute to intercultural dynamics in the country. So I would say yes.
Well, in my case, I would say there's quite a lot of interculturality here. There's a lot of mix, okay, a mix in here of different cultures. Also, I have one of the things about here in Mexico is that we have a lot of natives here, a lot of native people here in Mexico that could be considered also as interculturality, are also considered as culture basically, and how they mix each other here in Mexico. Also, I have seen a lot of people from other countries here in Mexico. Not a great percentage, but but I'm starting to see a lot of people from, let's say, China and parts, some parts of Europe and the US that come here to Mexico either because of business traveling, uh, being a tourist here in Mexico, or staying directly here and live in Mexico. I can see like fluctuation of culture here in Mexico. It's like we're like kind of a hotspot for lots of you could say um damn it, the word lots of tourist areas basically that in some places like Yucatan it attracts a lot of people from the US or Europe. So yeah, I could say there's a lot of interculturality here in Mexico. Okay, so question number three. How does ethnicity play in action when we speak of equality?
Well,
Well, definitely when it comes to ethnicity, people really try to investigate about what makes those cultures different and try to be more respectful to it and treat them as equal. But there's also multiple cases where ultimately is when you basically talk about your ethnicity or being public about it, sometimes can make people welcome you and others just basically reject you.
yeah, I agree with that. When discussing equality, ethnicity plays a significant role as it relates to the fair and just treatment of individuals from different ethnic backgrounds. And equality ensures that all individuals, regardless of their ethnicity, have equal rights, opportunities, and access to resources and more opportunities.
Okay, so in my case, I think ethnicity does play a big action in equality. It's basically we can say it in very simple terms. It's basically respecting each other. Like ethnicity, you could say, is your background. It's like the place you grew up and how you develop yourself as a person. So you should respect that part of a human being, and you shouldn't judge their upbringing and the place they were born and raised. Like, I think it should be something. It should be something really important to look and try to understand, and that not everyone has like same. Even in the same ethnicity, no one has like the same. You could say the same background to the same background, making them be different from each other. There's not two exactly basically similar people. That's what I'm getting at. And at the end of the day, it's just respecting each other, accepting that they have an ethnicity, they come of, let's say, Latin Americans, Asians, and Americans. You should respect them, each one of them as equal. Like, you can make a judgment about them after you start to know them and understand the person itself. You shouldn't just base yourself on what their background is, or what on how they grew up, or where they grew up. Okay, so question 4. Stereotypes in America. We have to give our opinion about it.
I think that America is home to a wide range of religious belief and practices. But unfortunately, stereotypes about certain religions can discriminate. For a quick sample, United States, maybe with the Muslims being associated with terrorism or something like that, or assumptions about the values and practices of different religious communities. I think that America, speaking of it like a continent, has a diverse population, and stereotypes related to a race and ethnicity persist. And these stereotypes can be harmful and perpetuate prejudices and discrimination. So I think that there are a lot of stereotypes in America.
I have to agree, but like, a lot of people say the U.S. is basically a very big racist country. But I gotta say that there's multiple stereotypes and also basically spread in Latin America because I've seen a lot of people that are from Mexico, from Chile or Argentina that basically has said a lot of negative things against people, once against black people, against Asians, against Muslims. It is not something from just one specific area. It is literally spread everywhere, and we had to do something in order to stop them and cause hate to those minorities.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree. I mean, some stereotypes can be rooted in historical or cultural perceptions, but they can often be inaccurate and unfair representation of individuals. So I totally agree. We always need to get to know people without stereotypes, like without them affect them the way that we see other people from other cultures, and we should be open-minded about this and don't judge just because what your background or your culture is.
Yeah, I also agree with this, and as we can see, there are various stereotypes, and an example that I think is that here in Mexico, sometimes we think that I don't know, the people from the north of Mexico are dangerous people and things like that, based on series about narcos and that we see on TV. And I think that to avoid stereotypes, we need to be more open-minded.
Okay, so I do think that US has a bit of a problem with not just racism but overall disrespect against each other. Like, here's the interesting thing. It depends in which state you are. Like, it's like you could say in some places of the US, because the US is huge. It's a really big country. So curiously, between one state and another, there's a lot of kilometers distance. So you could say each state, it has like a culture of its own, very ingrained because of how, like, you could say, spread out the country is. Now, the interesting thing about it is that some states have more concentrations on racism than others, and I will change it. It's not just racism; it's discrimination. Basically, it's like they will pick almost anything about you. There's also a good concentration of only races, but also there's a high concentration of person that just disrespect you for almost anything. Like, and I won't say that all the US is bad or that the US is bad, stuff like that. No, no. The thing is that some people that are in the US are quite nasty. Like I have seen it myself. Some people are nasty. There's judgment. They judge a lot, but what I can say is that mostly these kind of people are ignorant people. Basically, they didn't have like a proper cultural education, or they haven't even gotten out of their city ever. Like like here in Mexico, we have a situation where there's a lot of people in some cities that they just have never left the city. They just stay there, and their perspective of the world is just that city. And when they see something new, they freak out. It's kind of like similar over there in the US, and it's even more accentuated by the fact that the countries are like that the states are huge, and some cities are absolutely ginormous, like New York. Actually, New York is one of the places I wouldn't say racist, but I think the people over there are some of the meanest people you can find, and also crazy people. Honestly, it's like a conglomeration of some really crazy people. Of course, depending on which side of the New York you will go, but overall, I would say the thing about the US is that it's a really big country, and more territory means more probability of finding some races or some people that discriminate you, bad people in general. It's easier. And in some places, there's more concentration than in others. But I would say each country has its own problems with that. It's just that the US it's very famous because there's a lot of videos, there's a lot of internet news, there's a lot of these movements that they have. It's not just about racism, overall discrimination and dividing themselves from each other. It's kind of interesting topic, but it's also huge and complex. Like we just scratching like the exterior the exterior of this topic, but I think that the US is just all over problem, you could say. But I don't say that the whole country is bad. There's a lot of good things over there. There's good education. The you could argue there's a good health system, aside from the fact that it's expensive as hell. But I would say the US is not a bad country. It just has some a good amount of bad things. I'd say, like that's how I see it. Okay, so next question: impact of social acceptance in the workplace. What's your opinion about it?
I totally think that the impact of social acceptance in the workplace is significant and it's important because when employees feel accepted and valued for who they are, or like it creates a positive work environment. I think social acceptance fosters a sense of belonging, increases employees moral, and enhances overall job satisfaction. So it can lead to improved teamwork, collaboration, and innovation as individuals feel comfortable expressing their ideas and perspectives.
Yeah, social acceptance in the workplace it's very important because it refers to the level of inclusivity and respect individuals' experience based on their identity. Factors like gender, ethnicity, religion, and many aspects of diversity. The impact of social acceptance in the workplace is significant and can influence of employees' well-being and have a better job performance.
Yeah, Because yeah, I have to agree. Like culture also not only it basically affects us when it comes to our beliefs and all that, but it also affects our work behavior. Here. Like how we behave when us during a work environment. Like for example, like people in Finland and Germany, they're very hard workers and they take their job pretty seriously. In other countries, such as like here, people are a bit more relaxed, and it's more from more calm environment. It's not very stress. It can be stressful, but not as stressful in those other places. This and it's also basically the manners are also pretty much different. So those are basically behaviors and we need to be more aware of when we're working abroad or, or basically working inside the country. And that's something that we all have to be aware of other people's differences.
I think that when you work in any company, all the companies look out for the same thing, that is making money, increase sales, growth, and a big part of that is because of the employees. And when you have happy employees or employees that feel valued and they feel like good with the company, it also will affect in the retention. The employee will want to work with us a lot of years, and it is something positive, not just for the employee, but talking about the company as well. It will support the growth and success for both of us. So I think that it's so important, the social acceptance in the workplace.
I do think it has an importance of being social, accepting, of being of social acceptance in the workplace. But I think it's also you shouldn't focus way too much about it. Like at the end of the day, the most important thing in a workplace is like doing your job correctly and how it's needed to progress and make. I'm not saying it's not important social acceptance in the workplace. I should say that we should understand that. For example, if us as Mexican we go to a workplace, let's say in the US, we should adapt to said work environment because at the end of the day, that company um, grew and developed itself in that culture over in the US. So we cannot go and say, hey, I wanted to be just like here in Mexico, so change your change your structure so I can feel socially accepted. I think that could be something that could be a problem, and that's why I think it's good to be socially accepted, to have a socially accepted and environment, but also you should put in focus way too much on it. You should understand like, okay, this person comes from Mexico, we're gonna accepting him and we're gonna teach him on how to adapt in this new work environment, like to expand his knowledge and his understanding, like to expand his cultural awareness. So he can understand that the Mexican way of doing things in the workplace is not the only way. There's also other ways of doing it. I think it's important not just social acceptance, but also expanding your view and understanding other social cultures, other work environments, and also a social network in the workplace. Like social network in the workplace is very important because can greatly determine how efficient you are in the work in a work environment. Is how well you can communicate with your colleagues. Is how well you can work with them and understand them, talk with them, communicate each other, making things, and you can even make things more efficient with a good social network. So at the end of the day, I think social acceptance is important to a certain degree, but also you should teach a person that is new to this work environment. You should teach them how it works over there, how the environment works, how everything fits fit, fits together, how to work correctly and understand each other. I'm not saying that you should just not be accepted because of your social environment and stuff like that. Like it's important until a certain degree. You just have to expand like your view of things and try to learn new stuff. Okay. So last question. The role of a leader in a cross-cultural company. Discussion on how and what must a leader do for a successful leadership.
Well, in a cross-cultural company, a leader play a crucial role in facilitating effective communication, fostering understanding, and promoting collaboration among individuals from diverse cultural backgrounds. And for me, a leader must know his team very well to find the best way for them to work. This also includes knowing about the culture as it is part of them and how they develop these abilities that his team have.
If you're a leader in this type of corporations, you need to be very conscious. You need to be conscious about how your employees behave. You need to see if they're being treated equally. You need to be completely aware of this type of situations because you don't want something bad to happen. You don't want somebody to be mistreated due to their religion or where they come from or for their gender. Their
I totally agree. I think as a leader, you should have cultural intelligence, like involve understanding, respecting, and valuing different cultural norms, values, or perspectives. So you should encourage open communication and collaboration, allowing all your employees to share their unique ideas and perspective, and you try to understand them and get to a way of work that works for everyone and which everyone feel comfortable about it.
I agree, and I think that all of you guys say is important because inevitably a conflict will arise in a cross-cultural company because of the cultural differences. So the leader that the company should be skilled in conflict resolution and mediation, helping employees navigate and resolve conflict in a constructive manner. And in that way, we will avoid the differences and the things that may um, mm, make the company to not achieve the goals. So I agree with all of you.
Okay. I think the leader has a really big responsibility on making both sides of the company in an intercultural company to be kind of agreeable and understanding of each other, and also to work effectively between each other. The main thing I would say is that they, as leader in a cross-cultural company, you should find a middle ground. You cannot just completely agree on one side or another on trying to or agree to everything between both sides. You have to give like some sort of limit sometimes between both sides. Let's take for example company between, let's say, Mexico and Germany, for example. Here in Mexico, we're a bit laid off, more relaxed, sometimes borderline lazy, sometimes, let's be honest. And over there in Germany, they're more like square to the point and direct. So, what will you do in this situation as the leader? The point is that you have to find the middle point. like it's good that in the German side they're to the point and direct, but also you should teach the you should show them that it's not necessary to be so on point or so direct or on point. You should try to be like a bit more open about how do I say it? That accepting on the side of Mexicans that they're a bit more lazy off. As long as they do their work the on their ending time, their time mind the time, it shouldn't be a big of a problem. Because it could make a bit of a battle between the German side that they steal the Mexican side, not doing as much work as them, and it could make a mess. Also, the Mexican side, you should teach them to be more active, try to work a bit more, push yourself a bit more, do more. Don't just laze around too much. It's okay on measure as long as you're doing what it's asked about you. I think you should find like that certain uniform. It's a bit complex, honestly. You should first be very observant about both sides and how they interact with each other. Try to try to find the key points that you would say are the main problems, and try to step by step resolve them, make some sort of solution. And sometimes you will have to agree with one side over the other, depending on the situation. But at the end of the day, you have to administrate this in a way as seen it. You should as seen it as to make a good environment between both sides, that they can understand each other and they can agree with each other, so they can make a good work environment, and also very important, make a social network between each other, so there's no conflict or misunderstanding between each other. Okay, so that's all for today, and thank you very much for